Hi there, Serial Trader here. Alright, let's have a look at weed. And, quite the change since yesterday's video. So yesterday we were coming down and just knocking right on the door of these lows we had. So 3181 was that key level that had to hold for this to be just a simple ABC zigzag down. And that we were going to be working an impulse wave to the upside. Now it certainly looked, before today happened, that we were going to have some sort of more complex correction, or at least that was, certainly the probable outlook at that point, just based on the price activity. We had a three-way move down. That was definitely a zigzag down. But then we had what initially looked like a promising move up, started to break out, got above that daily T line, and then gave it all back within a couple trading sessions, and we were sitting right around near the lows at the close yesterday. But that being said, I still viewed this as an overall corrective pattern, as I pointed out in yesterday's video, and because of that, and knowing that we were going into earnings and we'd already dropped, a pretty considerable amount in a short period of time, I took the risk. In a sense, I took the risk. I mean, I was still very confident that over a longer period of time, this pattern will be more than fully retraced to the upside. But I suppose I was taking the risk of having to endure some more temporary downside before that started happening. But I didn't want to, not go into earnings and then have, this happen, for instance. So I entered and was actually able to get a better price than I got stopped out for, which was at 32.84. My stop got hit yesterday, and then I bought back in a few different orders, but it was in the low 32s, 32.10 I think, 32.15 in that area. So I actually ended up with more shares than I had before I got stopped out, and then it ended up being a very nice gift today. So what happened? Well, what happened is, a large U.S. company, Constellation Brands, decided that they liked this Canopy Growth Corporation enough to invest several $billion into them. And even better than that, the deal will be at a particular share price of, I believe, $48 a share. It might be 48 and change, but 48 for sure, which is basically right around the all-time high so far. And just knowing that, I mean, billionaires don't typically make big investments with the intent of losing, meaning that 48, I mean, we're going to go well above 48. I mean, that was already implied by this analysis before this happened, but the fact that they're buying at 48, you think they're just going to break even? Absolutely not. It's going to go well above 48 before it's all said and done, which is interesting today because we're only trading, we closed it just over 42, went as high as 43.37. So clearly a lot of people trying to take early profits. I'm not really sure why. I mean, 48 plus is coming. There's just no way it's not. Highly likely, okay? That's about as close to a sure thing as you get in the stock market. And look at this volume. So we had 18.39 million shares trade on weed, and clearly that's outstanding volume. Looking back, you gotta go real far back to try and rival that volume. And over here maybe rivals it, but yeah, there's maybe only a handful of trading days in this stock's history that might rival this. So pretty incredible. And I'll quickly point out before we go back to weed on CGC. So normally weed trades at higher volume than CGC, but not today. So today CGC traded an astonishing 35.445 million shares, and that's even more impressive being that it's in US dollars, which have more dollar value compared to a Canadian dollar. So not only more shares, but also a currency that's worth more. So the dollar volume, absolutely incredible, and by far the highest CGC has ever seen. So that shows a lot of American big money coming in here and liking this a lot. and that's not surprising. But back to weed. So as far as the wave count goes, I'm quite happy that we're not going to have to live with the double zigzag potential that I was entertaining last night. And we very much likely have a 1, 2, 3 up, and nothing to say the 3 is done. And then possibly a 4 down, 5 up. I suspect this 3 might really have some legs to it, though. Could really be underrating this. But we'll see. It's still going to trade technically, even if there is this fundamental backing to it. Now, also interesting to point out, still has some Fibonacci stuff going on here. So I'll do a fib extension. Let's get the magnet back there. And just doing a fib extension. So we have the length of wave 1 projected off the termination point of wave 2. And we have the 1.618 relationship. I believe that's the one I wanted to show here. Yeah, that should be good. So 1.618 relationship. So we've just gone above that. So that's a very typical wave 3 target. Obviously, we've exceeded that, and we could continue to exceed that. There's some other, there's a 2.0 relationship. There's, a bunch of other ones, but that's a pretty typical level to be looking at. Maybe 2.618. That's getting right up there at 47 and change, knocking on the all-time highs. So I highly doubt this is done going up short term here. And this candlestick pattern today is that's a bullish hammer if I've ever seen one. See this very long lower shadow of the market rejecting these lower prices, and then you just have this small real body, which is the hammerhead. So you got the handle and the hammerhead, and massive volume supporting it, obviously. Almost unprecedented volume. So that's nice to see. So despite this, maybe yesterday it was looking like a pretty ugly impulse wave to the upside. Certainly wasn't looking very good with this sharp drop. We actually, remember the rules of Elliott, wave 2 can retrace up to 100% of wave 1. So we had less than 100% retracement, although it was extremely deep. The wave 1 origin was 3181. And the wave 2 termination point was 3201. So basically 20 cents difference between the low here and the low here. But hey, I'll take it. And the proof here is we got our wave 3 up with our, multi-billion-dollar rescue package here. So that's good. It's also a huge vote of confidence that such a large entity is committing that much capital to this. That's really that's kind of bringing us into the big leagues here. It's no longer just a speculative, oh, it's a bubble, not that many people are going to smoke weed, even though it's not even just about smoking weed. There's so much more to it than that if you look into this. But that was kind of the rhetoric going on, and now a lot of people are kind of shutting their mouths at this point. Usually people that have $4 or $5 billion to spend on something do their research and know what they're doing, right? So easy for a bunch of armchair analysts to try and poo-poo it until that happens, and then they get a big kick in the ass. Now, just very happy that I made the decision to get back in yesterday near the close, because I would have, you have to get not, very emotional when you're trying to do this stuff, but I would have been absolutely destroyed if I had not bought in, hoping to buy in cheaper today, and then woke up to this. That would have been very, very hard pill to swallow, and I'm glad I didn't have to swallow it. So fantastic. Anyways, I'm sure we'll check in, well, at least at the end of the week, if not sooner, on weed here. And I very much enjoyed doing that video. Much more enjoyable than yesterday's video, in fact. Alright, Serial Trader signing off.